Hey guys, what's up? It's Nate. I'm delving into the effects of cyberbullying part 2 this week. You're going to have to bear with me because I'm a little sick with a cold and my voice is a little scratchy. Hopefully I don't start coughing during this. But if you remember the first week during class, our new media research studio, we argued about whether or not the internet should be screened or monitored. Many of us expressed the internet should be a free zone, somewhere where there aren't really too many rules and regulations that take away from our idea of freedom of speech. I, however, was one of those for monitoring on the internet, and frankly, I still am. While we all agree that the First Amendment and the freedom of speech is crucial to our definition of the United States of America, as we know it, the internet was not even fathomed at the time that the First Amendment was written. The internet creates a shield of anonymity that harms freedom of speech. We can use this shield to mask ourselves as we insult people, float nasty rumors, post photoshopped pictures in an attempt to make an enemy or a frenemy's life living hell. According to Bob on the Media during NPR, the internet has created a spiral effect similar to Lord of the Flies. The kids' novel, which we probably all read in grade school and middle school, was a power struggle that relied on the power of anonymity, or the shield of anonymity, to demonstrate the dangers of such power. Yet the internet has enabled this anonymity and physical distance to turn ordinary people into barbarous and nasty people. This act, which Bob deems the Online Disinhibition Act, has plagued the idea of freedom of speech online with the idea of cyberbullying. Last week, I mentioned 2 cases of cyberbullying, both which were inevitably fatal, but I did a pretty lousy job going into the cases and other cases, as well as the definition of cyberbullying. This week, I'm going to talk a little bit about defining cyberbullying and talk a little bit about some cases that weren't fatal. To start, I'm going to take a look at the National Crime Prevention Council's definition of cyberbullying. As I examined the dangers and risks of cyberbullying, I stumbled across their definition. They define cyberbullying as 1. Sending someone mean or threatening emails, instant messages, or text messages. 2. Excluding someone from instant messenger buddy list or blocking them from their email for no apparent reason. I'm going to add, for my own definition, deleting someone from a Facebook friend randomly and or just refusing to add someone that you know. 3. They continue to talk about tricking someone into revealing personal or embarrassing information and passing it on to classmates or colleagues. 4. Breaking into someone's email or instant messaging account to send cruel or untrue messages while posing as that person. 5. Creating websites to make fun of another person, such as a classmate or a teacher. And 6. Using websites to rate peers as prettiest, ugliest, fattest, skinniest, nerdiest, most stupid, etc. These acts are what they, at the National Crime Prevention Council, or NCPC, define as cyberbullying. Since cyberbullying occurs in the context of a child's home, it often feels inescapable or an intrusion of one's personal space. While bullying has lasted for centuries, being bullied at home can take away the place the child feels the safest. It can also be harsher than other forms of bullying. As mentioned in my post last week, but having some proof this week, according to the NCPC, oftentimes kids will say things online they would never say to a kid in person. And this is because kids don't like seeing a facial reaction of another person. Additionally, it is farther reaching than our traditional forms of bullying. This modern form of bullying can reach an entire class within a few clicks of an email, can be sent out to people on Facebook, or can just be put on the web for anyone and anyone to see. Remember yobusted.com? Cyberbullying right there. Cyberbullying can also be anonymous. Someone can hide behind a screen name or an email address that doesn't prove their identification. I could go on Amanda's email, or IM, and send someone a post about them from Amanda and no one would have any idea. An example of this is in The Click, which is a new movie out, and you should watch it to see. So moving on, since cyberbullying occurs in the context of a child's... moving on. I wanted to delve into a few cases of cyberbullying since I've defined it better. I want to take a peek at two cases that Bob previously mentioned on NPR talks about. The first case, which also was not fatal, is about Antonella Barba. Most of us are familiar with the show American Idol, and Antonella was one of the top 12 female finalists from last season. She instantly rose to fame, but not in the right limelight. She wanted to be a singer, not a porn star, and a couple weeks into her fame, she had pictures posted with compromising positions and little to no clothing on. She seemed almost like hopeless in her attempts to stop the pictures from circulating. Almost anywhere online, you could click a link to be transferred to the pictures, and nothing she could do or say could stop it. And this was cyberbullying in and of itself. It was to a T. Cyberbullying doesn't always have to be fatal or cause someone to commit suicide. It just has to affect someone in a really negative light, and that's exactly what it did. Antonella's singing career didn't make it. She was always deemed mediocre by the judges. Simon, Paul, and Randy always didn't know why she was making it to the week after and the week after. But she inevitably was kicked off the show after failing to win America's votes, but still remained one of the hottest searches on Yahoo and Google, and still to this day remains one of the most popular Idol contestants in the history of the show, even though it's not for the right reason. The second case that Bob talks about is with a little boy who we've all probably seen on YouTube. He became famous after doing this little lightsaber dance-like routine in his house, and he thought he was safe and not hurting anyone. But instead, it was leaked to a classmate who in turn put the video on YouTube. It became an instant hit, and over 1 billion people have viewed this little kid make a total and utter fool out of himself. And it's really sad because, as explained earlier in this post, the home is supposed to be where we feel most comfortable about. And this kid had that comfort totally stripped from him in what appears to us to be a funny video, but to him is a total intrusion of his privacy. So I hope that this post paints a better picture of the effects of cyberbullying. It is something that's really dangerous, and it is something that we need to monitor. It isn't always fatal, but it does always have negative consequences. Someone is always hurt during it. So again, I want to go back to the first week and raise the question, should the internet be fair game, or should we have regulations? I wonder if the First Amendment was written today instead of decades ago, would it include the internet, or would it include just oral transmission of words? Speech, or orally, is far less damaging to a person's psyche than the internet. And so it's an interesting thing to think about. Because I know I can say a couple mean things to some people, but I can say a lot meaner things online. So think about it and let me know. Until next week, I'll talk to you later.